Andres, so happy to have you on the podcast. I saw your Facebook video of you playing the Red Hot Chili Peppers. What song was that you were covering?
The Zephyr song.
My biased opinion, I'm going to say that you do it better than the Red Hot Chili Peppers, and I would be honored for you to start off the podcast with playing that song for us.
Thanks, man. That's a really big compliment. Thank you.
Hey, my pleasure, brother. You do your thing, and then after that we'll have a little chat.
All right, sounds like a plan.
All right, brother.
Get your hand to right on, just be selected bottom. When that's if I'm a cut on, do you wanna flash a light on? Look, it's on display for you. No, not today. You meet your fortune teller, get it off with no propeller. Do it up, it's always there, the water where to finally smell them. Get up and not strong for you. To be some pass it on. Fly away, oh my Zephyr. I feel it more than ever. And in this perfect weather, we'll find a place together. Fly on, rolled in a liberator, found a way to be a skater. Rode up to levitate, a super friendly aviator. To globe it's on display for you. No, not today. Fly away, oh my Zephyr. I feel it more than ever. And in this perfect weather, we'll find a place together. In the water where I center my emotion, all the world could pass me by. Fly away, oh my Zephyr. We're gonna live forever. Fly away, oh my Zephyr. I feel it more than ever. And in this perfect weather, we'll find a place together. In the water where I center my emotion, all the world will pass me by. Fly away, oh my Zephyr. We're gonna live forever.
That was great, dude. That was great.
All right, cool.
So, if you're not familiar, this podcast is supposed to be related to technology, transportation, and travel. So, I think, I don't know, I think for this one, we might go a little off topic because I've done an off topic one with Ronnie before, and it was kind of fun. So, but the question that I kind of came up with was, because I know you're from Mexico, right?
Mm-hmm.
You came over when you were about, what, 10?
I was about 6 years old.
6 years old. What do you remember about that? Because, like, you asked me what I remember about being 6 years old. I don't necessarily know that much. And honestly, I don't really know that much about Mexico. I mean, there is obviously a lot of influence and pop culture things related with Mexico that you get here in the United States. But what do you remember from being in Mexico and stuff like that?
Well, Honestly, a lot of the memories I have, like, from living there are all family related. So,
Yeah.
um, I would mostly hang out with my cousins. I live with my grandparents, and one of the main things I remember was just learning to swim there. There was a public pool that my grandpa would always take us to, and I learned how to swim there. He taught all his grandchildren to swim there. All my siblings, my cousins, you know, um, even some friends that my grandpa has, he's taught how to swim. So people that were my age. Um, so I remember swimming specifically.
Was your grandpa just really into swimming, or did he ever like compete or anything?
He never competed, but he was a very athletic person. So he was into gymnastics. He was into diving, kind of like in the Olympics.
Gotcha.
Um, he was crazy. He would jump off of like 10-meter diving boards, man, and he would like do flips and just, like
Yeah.
I can't like stress enough how crazy that is because uh, he was doing that until he was like probably around his 60s, like almost late
60s?
60s. Yeah, my
Wow.
grandpa, he's about like 74 right now, I believe. It might
Wow.
be maybe 73. Um, but like I don't know, my grandpa to me was like my grandparents to me, they were my heroes. Like
Yeah.
they were some of like the most selfless people that like
Yeah.
I've ever met. I might be a little biased, but because they
Sure,
are my
sure,
family, but like
sure.
I
Do
looked, yeah,
do they still live down there in Mexico?
they do, yeah. Um, most of the families down there, but we have, I mean, there's me, my mom,
Yeah.
uh, and then there's my aunt, who uh, who lives in Texas, so very close to the border.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Yeah,
So
so
have you ever gone back down there to go visit family, and like how often, or how does that work out for you?
I have. Man, I was actually talking to my dad the other day about that. Like, it's been a while. I think it's
Yeah.
been like last time I went was, oh, man, maybe my freshman year. Like, well, after my freshman year of college that
Gotcha.
summer.
Gotcha.
Um, but
So do you try to
do you,
go about like every like few years or what?
yeah, I try my best to like go at least once a year
Yeah.
because I have a lot of family and I'm really close with my grandparents. Not just my grandparents, but like my dad lives down there. So, um,
I didn't
them
I
as
didn't I
well.
didn't know your
And
dad lived down there. I thought he was here in Indiana. Did he move back?
well, it's kind of complicated. So,
Gotcha.
uh, I mean, it's not like
Yeah.
it's not anything
You
bad.
yeah,
Just
you don't have to get too much into it. I just was not aware. I just thought he was still up here.
yeah. Yeah. So my stepdad is the one that's up here.
Oh, that's right. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, yeah. And then my biological father is the one that lives down there.
Gotcha. Are
Yeah. So both of my biological parents, they remarried and they had their families, and I'm the only one from that family, or like from the two of them getting together. Sorry.
interesting.
Yeah,
Interesting. Wow. So, and you're still in Terre Haute, aren't you?
I am. My family, my mom, speaking of her, like she
Yeah.
actually moved uh over to Columbus, Indiana. So she's about like an hour and a half away.
Yeah,
So,
that's about right.
yep.
That's cool. That's cool. So, what have you been doing since like quarantine and everything? Have you had like somewhat of a normal life, or how does it kind of look for you?
Well, it kind of has affected me a little bit. So I'm fortunate enough that I was able to keep my job. I work at Menards.
Yeah, that's. I mean, it's
Um,
still fortunate though.
yeah, like my, for example, my father, um, he he wasn't able to, keep his job. I mean,
Oh,
he got like a temporary layoff. He was able to keep it, but he wasn't working, for a while. Speaking of which, he actually just got like he was actually able to start again. I think it was like 2 days ago or something.
Hey, what's up?
So
That's
yeah, like
awesome.
we're really happy about that. Like I called him up and I was really happy. So and he was happy and uh, but as far as like what I've been up to, I mean, I've just been trying to finish college, man. Like I got one semester left, and this last semester was really weird
Was it
because
rough or what?
yeah, it was rough because the transition from going to like face-to-face classes
Yeah,
to online, it was really hard, and I don't know. I felt like I almost felt like they were packing on more things than they needed to, and I don't know
really.
why that was, or
Yeah, I always found classes taken online to be especially easier compared to those counterparts of like being in a physical classroom. And there are some people I've talked to that they hadn't taken online classes before, and this was their first taste of it because you had to.
right.
And I don't think they had that big of a problem with it, but I will say there are some classes that they have to do that you can't really augment with online classes.
Yeah, I can't even like if you have a lab, how are you supposed to get your labs done,
Yeah,
when
sure.
you don't have like the equipment in front of you? I
Yeah.
mean, there are like things that simulate the equipment, software that does
Yeah.
that,
All
but
right, what's your major?
electrical engineering technology.
Okay, so you kept the major since you came back to Indiana State. How are you liking that? Because I know it was stressing you out quite a bit last time I talked to
It's
you, which was quite a few years, a couple years ago. Whenever we were talking about like electrical engineering and stuff like that.
Yeah, it was crazy because I took a year off, went on my mission and that and like then I came back and it was yeah, it was crazy. I hadn't gotten to talk to you since then, I believe. So,
Yeah, pretty
because yeah,
much.
because you graduated when I came back.
Yep,
So
graduated in May 2019. So, but
right.
I just
Um,
want to let you know that anytime I see a banana sticker, I always take a picture of it.
yeah.
I always take a picture of it and I
I
send it to you. Just want to let you know that.
yeah, no, I still remember. I'm still filling it up.
Are you
Like
serious? Are you still
I'm
doing that?
almost done. I'm almost done with my
Oh my!
laptop, and I got to get something else to start filling up now.
Do you have it handy?
No, it's down. Well, it's downstairs, so I'd probably have to go and grab it.
You, actually, it'd be really funny to test. You could test it like the range on your headphones, and you could like talk and go run down there and get it. And then I could just stay on here and just fill air if you want.
Okay, yeah, I'll give it a
All
shot
right,
here.
all
We'll
right. You
see.
ready? Ready? Break. Go.
All right.
Anyway, oh yeah, you can still hear me. So,
Yeah, I can. Yeah,
ooh, I wonder when it's gonna break. I can still
yeah,
hear
me
you.
too.
I can still hear you. I can still hear you.
Yeah, I can still hear you too.
This is actually really funny because I'm literally just looking at your bedroom and I can still hear you, but there's no one there. Could you
That's kind of
imagine if we
funny.
did the whole podcast like this? It's just a video stream of your room and you're not even in there. See, okay, that wasn't even that long. That was pretty fast.
Yeah. Well, I knew where it was. I usually don't, to be honest. I leave it around everywhere. But
Gotcha.
here,
Oh my gosh. How old are some of those
yeah,
stickers? When did you start doing that?
my freshman year, like literally when maybe before, um, I guess probably like when I got it, and which was I think before I started freshman year. So the summer going
Oh,
into freshman
oh, your connection's breaking up a little bit.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
Oh.
it's all good though. What made you start doing that?
Uh, I had a friend who, so in high school, I had a friend, Jade Weeks, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, well, we were just sitting at lunch one time, and we were, I don't know, every day I would bring in a banana, a Chiquita banana, for
So you
for
just tell
lunch
me
or
you just
whatever.
hate Dole bananas?
What was that?
Said you just hate Dole brand of bananas?
No, I mean I don't really care, to be honest with you. It's just those are just the ones that you know. I don't know. My mom went out and bought groceries, and those are the ones that she bought. So, um,
Gotcha.
but I would take one every day for lunch, and then what would happen is that Jade would like take the sticker off, and then she'd put it on my shirt, and then I'd be like,
Okay.
I don't want it on my shirt. And I had this planner that was nearby one day when she put it on my shirt, and so I just like took it off and I put it on the planner, and that's how it started.
Never knew that. So it went from the planner to the laptop. I feel like there should be an even greater evolution to that.
I don't know. Maybe next I'll do my amplifier.
Your amplifier. How often are you playing music?
Um, well, here recently I picked it up. Again, I usually go on and off depending on how busy I am. Like
Yeah.
this whole year, I almost didn't really dedicate a lot of time to it just because of how busy I was with this past semester.
Yeah. Are you full-time student and full-time working or what?
I am a full-time student and I am a part-time worker at Menards.
I mean, that's not bad. I mean, it could be full-time, two full-time jobs and a full-time student.
Yeah, no,
I've
I couldn't do
definitely heard of
that.
those
That'd be
situations.
very hard. Yeah, I don't know how some people do that. Kudos to them, really, because that's very difficult.
Oh yeah. I couldn't even begin to imagine how they find time to do it and to get enough sleep at night, which I imagine that's not even happening. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's crazy. No, I actually I never knew where that sticker thing came from, and I was like, I just have to ask about it because it's so goofy. I feel like you could,
Yeah.
it'd be funny. I think it'd be funny if
What?
you got like a phone case for your phone that was it was just customized and it was just a Chiquita banana sticker. What phone do you have?
I have an iPhone 8.
Legendary. I think
Just, or maybe like on the back of like the pop socket.
yeah, on the back of the pop socket. I think the last time I saw you, you had the iPhone SE. Is that right? Did you have one of those?
Yeah, and what happened to it was I drive a forklift at work, and I guess it was hanging off my pocket. Yeah, it was. So I was driving around. I guess I like hopped on. I like I grabbed the OS bar or the handle or whatever you want to call it, and I swung my body into the forklift into the seat,
Yeah.
and my phone was like it just like slipped out of my pocket, and it just like fell flat on its face.
How
And
sad were you?
not that sad because it was an old phone. I was like, it's about time I get a new one, you
When
know.
when did that happen?
Um, oh man.
Year ago,
Uh,
6 months ago.
Maybe a year and a half ago.
Okay, and that phone I think came out about 2015, and you're rocking it in about 2018, 2019 time frame.
Yeah, bro, yeah. I needed a new phone. Seriously.
Oh yeah. I mean, were you able to have a phone on your mission?
I was, but it wasn't like an iPhone. It wasn't a smartphone. It was one of those like old. It wasn't a flip phone. What do you call those? The ones like that slide and it has like the little keyboard, the text.
I I mean the phone. Did it have an internet browser or
Yeah.
anything on it?
Uh, I we weren't allowed to get on the internet anyway, so I wouldn't have.
Gotcha.
Probably not. I don't think so.
Gotcha. That's funny. Yeah, last I
I
knew.
had a yeah. That's I had a tablet, but we weren't even able to use that. But
Hey,
like
you had a
for
tablet. That's fire.
yeah, I mean, takes better pictures.
So were you able to document anything on your mission or anything like that? Like, I guess, were you allowed to have a like an actual camera or anything like that?
Yeah. I brought in like one of my old Kodak cameras from like I don't remember how like long ago.
Was it a film?
Uh,
Was it a film camera?
uh, no, it was just like one of those
Like
not like
just
one
a
of the
point and shoot?
yeah, like
Yeah,
yeah,
just a
you
little
kind
point and
of
shoot.
yeah, it wasn't like one of the ones that you buy at Walgreens, like the little cheap ones that you like
Mm-hmm.
buy and then you go and develop the film at the
Yeah,
Walgreens or whatever. It was one of like the more advanced ones, like the ones that were modern at the time.
gotcha. That
So,
that's heat. So that's cool. So what have you been up to lately? Have you been writing more music, or what have you really been doing to fill your time? I mean, essentially, this is what I've been doing to fill my time.
um, honestly, just right now, just most recently going to work and playing as much music as I can. Like I said, I picked up playing and singing, um, like maybe a couple of weeks ago again. You know, because I uploaded that video and stuff, and
Hey, you
um,
had good feedback on that video. You had a really
yeah,
good
I was
response.
really surprised that it got that many likes. I was just like, whoa.
I think the last time I saw it had like 120 or something like that. Is that right?
Yeah, I don't know, maybe like 90s or something. I don't remember anymore either.
I'm surprised you haven't uploaded it to like YouTube or something like that.
I think I'm gonna start a YouTube account later when I have like more material, like my own stuff.
I mean, covers are very popular. I know a lot of people before they start doing their own stuff, they'll just cover something, or they'll do a bunch of covers of whatever, or they'll do like Disney melodies and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's a good way to start, especially for like, I don't know, for musicians that aren't like, didn't go to school for, to learn the theory and
I
things
mean,
of that sort. Because I'm, I've had a few lessons, but I'm mostly self-taught. So,
I feel like most people are, to be honest. Most people are. They just had a parent or grandma, grandpa, or they just picked it up. I mean, Post Malone, he just picked up Guitar Hero. He literally learned how to play guitar from playing Guitar Hero.
oh, I didn't know that. That's crazy.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh, that's crazy.
yeah. And now look where he is, right? And then you have people like Justin Bieber. I don't know if you remember, but he got his start on YouTube.
Yeah, I think I remember some of his older videos.
Yeah,
I think Usher was the one who went to go and I guess
I think no,
uh
it's Chris Brown. I think.
was it Chris? Oh yeah, or yeah, I don't know. Maybe it was Chris, or maybe it was Chris Brown. I have no idea.
Yeah, I mean, I always get them mixed up myself. Don't get me wrong, but like, I feel like nowadays there's so many ways or like things that you can do to make money, whether that's doing podcasting or uploading to YouTube. I mean, even getting that exposure out there, I've seen people do crazy things. Like, I think I just started watching this guy. He plays NCAA football games, and what he does, he's like the coach or the athletic director of like a college football team. And so you have to like recruit players to be on your team, and you have to get players to stay, and you have to do all these different things. And what he does is he has a Patreon, and if you buy in at a certain level, he takes your name and puts your name on one of the characters, and then he's using like your name and different things that you ask him to make. So say you want to be a quarterback, and he takes your name, Andres, and he puts you as quarterback in the game, and now he has you on his team playing quarterback, and he's literally just making money by using Patreon supporters' names to play these video games.
That's crazy,
Yeah, that's what I'm
dude.
saying.
That's pretty cool though, honestly.
Yeah, well, I mean, I started watching, I was like, wait, where are all these dudes? And I realized that he was just naming all of them. And then he said, this is the name of one of my Patreon supporters or something like that. And then something was going to happen to the player where he was going to transfer schools or something like that. And he's like, I won't really let that happen. I'll just change the name of another player so you can still be on like his university team. Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah.
No, seriously, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and there's just so many things to do. I mean, I got it back at, well, I didn't get back into podcasting, but I got into podcasting just because I was bored and I wanted to talk to people, and I was like, if I'm gonna talk to people, I might as well, get on camera and put it up for everyone to hear, because you get some interesting people. Like my last episode was with Allison Prose. She went to North and she went to Otter Creek, but I didn't know her at Otter Creek. I only knew about her when I went to North because I had a Latin class with her. And little did I know, she's been racing dragsters since like 7 or 10 years old or something.
Wow, holy crap.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like you have all these people around you that are doing all these different things, and it's like you can learn a little bit something from here and there, and you just kind of take it in. It allows you to get all these different perspectives that you would have never heard before, right? So,
Right.
And that's why I love having people on, and like I wanted to have you on because I enjoyed your cover, right?
Thanks, man.
Hey, that's my pleasure. But yeah, it's a real cool thing. I mean, I've loved doing it, and it's given me something to do in my free time. So, but yeah. So hey, where are some places that you've traveled to that was like maybe exotic or cool, or there was something that you weren't really expecting to see there?
Let's see. I don't travel all that much, to be honest. Unfortunately. I'm trying to think of like the last place I traveled.
Was the last place that
Like
you
you're talking about like out of the country, right?
I mean, it could be out of the country. I mean, a lot of times I'll talk about places I've been to. Like I did a podcast about Turkey Run State Park and Turkey Run Inn because I love it so much.
I think the last place Sienna and I went to, Sienna's my girlfriend.
That's a really
we went.
interesting name.
Yeah, she's got an awesome name, honestly.
That's funny. But where's the last place you guys went?
Well, I mean, it's not like very far, but we ended up going to St. Louis. We ended up
Love
going
St.
for a
Louis.
short amount of time, mostly to go and see the zoo. I found it crazy how many like, I don't know if you've ever been to St. Louis, but like,
Many
have you ever been
times.
stuck in a traffic jam there?
Not in St. Louis. I imagine it's terrifying.
Oh my gosh, it's awful. I wasn't exactly sure what was going on, but it was like on the highway, and we were just kind of like, oh my gosh, what have we gotten ourselves into? And we're just, slowly letting all the cars, just, I don't know. Like it was so condensed. We were just kind of there for a couple of hours. So
Was it just a day
we
trip?
talk about how we complain about traffic here, like, oh, rush hour, 5 o'clock sometimes, but rush hour over there, man, like it's nothing like it's awful.
Was it just a day trip that you took there?
It wasn't a day trip. It was like, I think we spent we asked off of work, but
Mm-hmm.
we couldn't ask off too many days because, college, we got to make sure that we have enough money to, pay for the next semester and stuff. So I think it was maybe like 3-4 days. And,
So
yeah.
Did you just go to the zoo all those days, or did you do different things those days?
No, we did different things. We went to some comic book shops because we're dorky. We like stuff like that.
Andres, I've known you for what? Did you go to Otter Creek?
No, I wasn't in Terre Haute yet. I
Ah.
went to high school with you guys for about 2 years. So I came
Gotcha.
in my junior year.
So I've known you since junior year of high school, and I didn't even know you like comic books.
Yeah, I mean, I like comic books, dude. I'm seriously I'm super dorky. Like I still play trading card games. I still play video
Wait,
games. I
what
like
what
comic books. Like
what trading card games are you playing?
most recently, I've just been into Yu-Gi-Oh. So
Dude, I had Yu-Gi-Oh cards when I was younger.
yeah,
Yeah, I had some legendaries. I had all 5 pieces of Exodius.
I it's really funny because I went home and I was actually looking at all my old cards and I found all 5 pieces of Exodia that I still had that I forgot about and I was just like, whoa, like crap, I can't remember I still have that.
That's amazing. How cool
Yeah,
did you think you were when you had all 5 pieces though?
dude, I was like, I thought I was on like top of the world. I thought I was gonna own every single person. Seriously,
You thought
like,
you were unstoppable, didn't you?
yeah, my deck's better than yours, bro.
Yeah, and then I had Dark Magician guy and girl, Blue Eyes White Dragon. I had that little. What's that little? I want to say Jigglypuff, but that's Pokemon.
Karibo,
There we go. I know he's
the
like
little
a.
furry guy.
Yeah, I know he. I always get him mixed up with Kirby and Jigglypuff. I know both those dudes, but I always get Karibo mixed up.
Ah, that's cool, dude. Same thing.
Did you ever watch the TV show?
Yeah, dude, I was like, yeah, I think I was, how old were we? Maybe like five, 6 years
I was
old.
probably 3rd grade.
Yeah, I was really little. It's really weird because I have some friends that asked me, so did you watch it when you were younger? And I think about it and I was like, yeah, but I think I watched it in Spanish because I didn't really know English at the time. And I was still living in Mexico and stuff.
Gotcha.
So,
Are you still able to speak Spanish pretty well?
yes, sir.
Really?
Yeah, I can communicate pretty well, mostly for like communication purposes, right? Like if we're gonna start talking about like chemistry and
Oh
about
yeah, sure.
math and about engineering, I'm just like,
Yeah.
okay, like that's like a
Oh,
whole
you're freezing up again.
other.
You're freezing up again. Oh,
Oh,
all right. Do it again.
like terminology and stuff. Like
Gotcha.
that's probably like the yeah, like I said, if we were talking about like really specific subjects like chemistry, engineering, math, like I don't know, like I wouldn't know how to say the square root of 4 in Spanish.
Interesting. So what you know is very conversational, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like
You ever go to
I mean, I
Mexican
could talk about
restaurants?
some.
Oh,
What was
will you come with me to a Mexican restaurant?
that? Yeah, sure, man.
I just want to know
Anytime.
what they're saying. I really want to know.
Okay.
I always
Yeah.
feel like they're just talking mad crap.
I mean, I don't know. It depends. I'll have to listen.
Dude. So I don't know this person personally, but there's a show that I watch on YouTube. It's called the Pat McAfee Show, and there's a guy on there by the name of Zito, and he knew how to speak Spanish because I think what they said, he's Cuban or he's some Hispanic heritage or whatever it is. And I don't mean to like mess it up. I just don't know off the top of my head, right? And
You're good, man.
he was hypnotized when he was like 7 years old or 5 years old or something like that, because he kept mixing his English and his Spanish together, and no one knew what he was saying. So they would put him in front of a Spanish speaking person, and they didn't know what he was saying. They'd put him in front of an English speaking person, and they didn't know what they were saying. So they got him hypnotized to where he can't speak it, but he can literally, like, if someone's speaking it, he can essentially, he understands it and he can tell you what it means in English, but he cannot for the life of him say it back or communicate to that person in Spanish.
That's hilarious.
Have you ever heard of anything like that? That's crazy.
Like of people like mixing the two languages or hypnotizing?
Well, yeah, kind of both. I guess getting the result of hypnotizing from mixing the languages. I've never heard of anyone really mixing the languages like that.
I've never heard of the hypnotizing part, but uh, like mixing English and Spanish, yeah. Where I'm from, um, a lot of people like mix both. Like personally, I didn't really like to use it. It just sounded real weird to me. So, but it's almost like another language, to be honest. People, have you heard people call things like that Spanglish?
I've heard of that. Yes.
Yeah. So it's basically what you're saying, where like people will get English and Spanish and like will use
Oh.
like
Oh, you
a bit
cutting
of both in the.
cut out again.
Sorry, but my internet sucks.
I mean, what else can you do? We're hosting an internet show. I mean, we're at the mercy of our internet speed. So just redo what you have to say, and we'll keep it going.
So basically, Spanglish is what what you described. It's
Yeah.
getting a little bit of both English and Spanish and just like mixing them together and just speaking that way. Honestly, it's almost like another language because if I like I have to think about it to do it. Like I had a friend when I was in Sherryland. Sherryland is a school I used to go to in Texas, the high school I was at.
Gotcha.
He would be like, "Hey, go talk to la teacher." No, it's just like he's just saying, "Go talk to the teacher," like. But instead of saying the teacher, he says la teacher, and I'm just like, what's the purpose of doing that? I don't know.
Gotcha.
I don't know.
Gotcha. Probably because it just rolls off the tongue. What part of Texas was that in?
Um, I don't know. Have you heard of Mission, McAllen, Texas?
Yeah, I think so. Is it by the border?
Yeah, it's like super close to the border.
Gotcha. Is it kind of like closer to El Paso or closer to the Gulf?
It's closer to the Gulf.
Okay. Is it by what's
Brownsville.
Is it close to Boca Chica?
I don't even know where that is.
Boca Chica? Boca Chica is like right on the border, and it's like right by the Gulf. And Boca Chica is where SpaceX is building their Starship rocket ship.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah. Yeah.
So is Boca Chica more? Is it closer to like right next to the Gulf?
Yep. Right next to it.
Okay. So McAllen and Mission are about like an hour away from like South Padre Island.
Okay, yeah, I've heard of it. The only reason why I've heard of it is because that's where everyone goes for what is it called? For spring break.
Yeah, exactly. It's either, South Padre. Well, I hear most people here like to go to Florida, so.
Well, a lot of people, when Panama City Beach, I think they made it illegal to drink on the beach, and because of that reason, it made people either go to Fort Lauderdale or South Padre Island. At least for the East Coast.
Mm-hmm.
But
I think that was what one of my coworkers had said, that they were going to South Padre. It's like, I think you can get like a fine for also having like glass on the beach if you just leave like a broken glass or whatnot.
In South Padre.
I believe so, yeah.
I mean, I feel like that should be a law anywhere.
You can drink, but just, don't leave broken glass on the beach. So.
You know what I've always wanted to do? I've always wanted to have a fire on the beach.
A fire?
Yeah. You ever watch like The Karate Kid? And I think it's the first one. And all the bad guys, they're out having a fire on the beach, or
oh yeah. Uh-huh.
It might have not have been them. I don't know. I just remember there was fire on the beach in that movie, and I think it's out in California, but I don't know what the laws are about that. I wish I did know so I could have one. So But yeah. So yeah, Boca Chica, right on the Gulf. Essentially, it's like NASA's Space Coast in Florida, Cape Canaveral. Essentially,
Okay.
essentially the same concept. It's just SpaceX bought this land, so they can do launches from there.
Okay. Wow. That's pretty neat.
Yeah, and then another company by the name of Blue Origin, which have you ever heard of that?
I have not.
Blue Origin is owned by Jeff Bezos,
Okay.
guy who
Wow.
runs Amazon, right? Richest guy on
Yeah.
earth.
Hmm.
So they actually have a launch pad that's about 2 hours away from El Paso that they bought. Yeah.
Hmm.
Did you watch the space launches that they just had Saturday?
No, I didn't get to watch the space launches. I've honestly been trying to not be on social media too much recently just because of how crazy things are right now.
I understand completely. It's been hard. I mean, I've been trying to stay off of it as well. It was actually kind of funny what I did. So the astronauts already docked with the International Space Station, right? And Monday they had a Q&A from space, and I followed the International Space Station on like Sunday, and I follow them because I want to eventually get an astronaut on the show, whether they're doing it from the International Space Station or they're doing it from Earth. I just want to get an astronaut on the show because I think it would be really cool, and I'm really interested in that. And so I was going through Twitter Monday, and I saw a tweet from the International Space Station that said, "Call this number to reserve like a press pass to call in to the astronauts." So I called the number, and a lady actually answered the phone. I was like,
Mhm.
"Oh, this is okay." And so I gave her my information. She's like, "Well, you're kind of late for the call. It started like 15 minutes ago." I was like, "Of
Aw.
course, of course." And then she was like, "But there's some other reporters who called in late, and if you give me your email information, I'll give you the information to call in." So I waited for about 5 minutes, got that email, got on the call, and I heard them on the call. I was like, "Oh, great, I'm on the call." And so I might ask them my question. And I was on the call for 3 minutes, and they're like, "That concludes our session." I was like, "Great."
Aw.
But I actually put the effort in, and I attempted it. What I was going to ask them was, what is some technologies that they brought with them, or that they may miss not having on the space station, or some particular items that they're fond of that they brought with them, or some souvenirs and stuff like that. Just a simple question, but I thought it was funny, so
Mhm.
I thought I'd share that with you because I've only told like my family around me about doing that. So yeah, it was fun. Are you into like the space race, I guess, at all?
I mean, I don't keep up with it very much, no. I mean, I don't think I mean, it's pretty cool. I just don't keep up with it, that's all.
You said you're a nerd. You're not a true nerd. How could you?
I know, I said that, well, I guess I did say I was a nerd. Yeah, you're right.
No,
I
it's
should have
fine.
said I was more of a geek.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. But yeah, what are some of the comic books that you're into?
Most recently, there's one
Like you actually read
that
them, right?
I was reading for. Hmm?
Like you actually read them, right?
Yeah, there was one that I really liked about the Silver Surfer. I don't know if
Okay.
you've read up too much about him.
Mm.
It I've only read one volume though of it. It basically just talks about how I'm trying to remember the name of the guy that destroys planets. This is
Thanos.
getting real well, okay. There's like another guy that's like more of a threat, I guess, or as much of a threat. Um, but the Silver
Cut.
Surfer a worker for him, and it basically talks about how he doesn't want to be working for him anymore. He's seen so much death that he's just like, nah, man, I don't want to do this anymore. And he tries to like stray away from him. And so now he's just trying to save people instead. His job, the Silver Surfer's job, is to go and see how like that planet is doing, and basically report back to the guy who's dedicated to destroying planets. Basically, it's just kind of like he's playing judge. You know, does
Gotcha.
this planet be there, or are they like struggling really bad, and does it need to start over or whatnot?
Gotcha. Yeah. See, I always collected comic books just for literally the cover art.
Well, I mean, that's cool too. I mean,
Yeah, I had a grand idea that never took form. What I wanted to do was just go to like a comic book store, get like a bunch of cheap comic books, and just frame them on the wall as artwork.
yeah, I mean, that is really cool too. I've honestly just bought albums like when I was younger, like music albums just for the cover art because it's just really cool. So like I don't even know what they sound like or whatever, but that's the only reason I bought it.
That's funny. The only
Yeah.
album that I've ever bought, well, only vinyl that I've ever bought is it's from this really small band by the name of Island.
Never heard of that band.
So it was kind of an interesting experience. I went up to Chicago to go see a friend, Mara Collins. Actually, you know Mara?
Yeah, I know Mara.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You did. She did cross country, didn't you do cross country?
Yeah, we both did cross country. We weren't like, really tight or anything, but yeah, I talked to her a couple of times, and yeah, I mean, after high school, I don't really know like where she went or what she started doing with her life. I mean, I know she went to college, but I don't know what she's doing now.
Yeah, she's a really cool person, and she actually she went to school in Green Bay, Wisconsin, at St. Norbert College, which I think is a sister school of St. Mary of the Woods.
Okay.
Yeah, and so she went to school up there, and now she's in Boston, Massachusetts.
No way.
Mm-hmm. So she's there now. I think she has a sister that lives out in Boston as well.
That's crazy. It's
Yeah.
actually where I'm thinking about going. I'm thinking about living in Boston. Well, I guess, well, I don't know yet. It'd be cool to live in Boston, Massachusetts, but I just don't know how, like, I could deal with living in a big city like that. Maybe like more of the outskirts,
Do you know how cold it gets in Boston?
Yeah, I know.
You don't. You have no idea. No
Oh,
joke. I remember seeing some photos and videos from Mara's Snapchat for Green Bay, Wisconsin.
yeah.
I kid you not. There was probably a foot of snow there. Like we got some snow here in Terre Haute, but there's probably actually maybe a few feet of snow. And they were going to classes as normal, and the snow didn't melt until like a couple weeks after ours melted.
Bro, that's rough. I don't know.
And I guarantee you Boston is going to be just as bad, if not worse. That's no joke.
I mean,
But don't get me wrong, it's a nice city. They have all those like Ivy League schools. They have like, I know MIT is not an Ivy League school, but you have those like very prestigious schools. You have Harvard there. I don't. What else? They actually have the highest percentage of like population of their state has like a secondary degree, like a college degree.
oh,
It's very high.
okay.
It's like well over like 50. It's like 51, 52%. So everyone there is very well educated,
That's crazy.
but they're also not afraid to fight you.
Yeah.
But no,
I've
I've always wanted to go to
heard
Boston because
stories.
Boston, they have the Boston Red Sox, and I've always wanted to go to Fenway Park.
All right.
Fenway Park. Oh my gosh, man! I've always wanted to go to Fenway Park and sit on the green monster, catch a home run ball. That would be the best. I'm not even joking. But yeah. So what are some
On
other
the bucket
places
list.
what are some other places that you're looking to go to, I guess move to?
Well, maybe at some point back to Texas, where I'm, a little bit closer to. Well, I say that, but then I'd be far away from my immediate family.
It's a hard balance.
Like in San Antonio.
San Antonio?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, San Antonio. My cousin's there, but I really like San Antonio a lot because have you ever heard of the Riverwalk?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I love the Riverwalk, man.
Never been,
There's
but
like
I've
so
heard great
much to do
things.
there. Like it's not just, restaurants, which is, that's why most, a lot of people go out. Like here in Terre Haute, it's, a lot of restaurants and stuff. That's why people come here, like, from like the little towns.
Yeah, sure.
But over there, there's so much, like,
You ever been
I
to
don't know.
Austin?
It's just beautiful. Huh?
You ever been to Austin?
Yeah, I've been to Austin too. Austin's pretty cool as well. There's a lot to do there as well.
I've heard Austin is really cool. I've never been to Austin, but I know Austin has a really great music scene.
Oh yeah, they do.
So
Keep Austin weird, man.
that's funny. I mean, shoot, if you want to get into music and try to like have a music career, honestly, going to Austin, it's almost like going to Nashville. Not even joking.
Yeah, we've also been thinking about somewhere like Atlanta, Georgia.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that has a really good music scene as well. Cali as well. I don't know why this isn't the first place that popped into my head actually when I said that we went to go, like, because you asked me, what are some places you visited? Actually, Sienna and we actually went over to Cali to go visit my cousin over there, and
Really?
it was a different experience for me. I mean, I had gone to Cali before for my mission, but I didn't get like the privilege of going into a restaurant or to a Walmart or to like the beach. Like we couldn't swim because a lot of accidents have happened to missionaries that decided to go swimming, like missionaries that weren't being very smart, of course. But I love the ocean there, dude. It's
Really?
amazing. Yeah, like I've don't get me wrong, I like South Padre Island and I've been there. But dude, the ocean in Cali, it's like it's beautiful.
Oh yeah. I've been to California.
And I've always wanted to learn to surf, so you can get some pretty big waves over there too.
Yeah. What about Hawaii? You
So
ever thought about going to Hawaii?
no, I never have. I thought of visiting, but like, are we talking like just visiting or living?
Either.
I've thought about visiting. Yeah,
You've
it's
thought
pretty
about?
cool
I
there.
think everyone has thought about going there. I mean, it's a
I
very
mean,
beautiful place.
oh, absolutely.
I don't know if you knew
I mean,
this, but
I don't know too much about Hawaii, but yeah.
well, something interesting about Hawaii that I learned probably a couple of years ago is that Hawaii has 11 out of the 12 um what is it? Climates.
Oh, oh.
I'm not even joking. You go to one side of the island, you have like desert. You go to one side of the island, you have tropical rainforest. You go to the other side, you have temperate deciduous forest. The only one that they don't have
Oh,
there,
okay.
the only climate that they don't have there is Arctic.
Oh, okay. See, I don't
Yeah.
know why. You meant more like I thought you meant more like weather changes, more like that.
I mean, I imagine it rains a lot there, to be honest, but I imagine you get that with pretty much any island. I don't want to say island country, but I guess island.
I mean, yeah. I understand what you're trying to say.
Well, for a lot of people who don't know, Hawaii used to be its own country before it became a state.
I did not know that.
Yeah, it was its own country. They had a queen. I probably won't be able to pronounce her name, but because it has a bunch of vowels and stuff like that. But yeah, they used to have a queen and everything.
That's crazy, man. I had no idea about that at all.
Yeah, Hawaii's wow. Hawaii's an interesting place to say the least. I mean, there's just so much to do there, a lot to see, a lot of good things, a lot of great people. I imagine. I mean, I've thought about going myself. I just, haven't had the time, the money, or the opportunity, essentially, to go.
What's like the last yeah, what is the last place you visited? Last time I remember, I think it wasn't Australia. You went to where'd you go? It's in the back of my mind. It's bothering me now.
Are you talking about the last foreign country I went to? Or last
Not
foreign place?
necessarily. What was that?
I said just the last, I guess, notable place.
Yeah, wasn't it like, did you go to Alaska?
I did go to Alaska, but that was before Australia.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, what's the most recent then?
I guess the most recent would be, what's the name of the country? Iceland.
Oh, dang, dude.
Yeah, Iceland was pretty cool.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
I'll bet.
the way it goes, it was Alaska, Australia, Ireland, Iceland.
Man, like, what's it like there?
So I went by myself, right? And I went so not this past March, but the March before that. That's when I went. And it's a really interesting place. Like when I was there, they would always, it's really interesting because I don't know if English is a official language there, but pretty much anyone from in the airport into the supermarket or whatever, they speak English. So, but they'll speak Icelandic to you first, and then I'll say, sorry, I don't understand. And then they'll say, oh, okay. And they'll say whatever they have to say in English. And it doesn't really sound like there's that much of an accent to what I'm used to, but there's a little bit of difference. It was really weird because the place, there's a lot of geothermal activity there, and the ground in a lot of places gets very hot. So, for example, I went to this mountain, and it's not too far from Reykjavik. And this mountain had a geothermal river that ran down the mountain. But you had to hike like 2 miles, or no, not 2 miles. You had to hike 2 hours to get to where the stream was big enough that you can hop in. But at the base of the mountain, there was actually geothermal like hot springs, but they were so hot the water was boiling and there was steam coming off the water. And if you were to jump into
that's insane, dude.
Yeah, and if you were going to jump into those pools of water, I think it's like some of the signs, I think they said 212 degrees Fahrenheit, I think is what they said.
In the water?
Yeah, the water.
That's really? Like, whoa.
Yeah. And
whoa, that's insane.
Yeah. So if you're gonna jump in there, if you're in there long enough, you're probably gonna kill yourself. And
yeah, no
if you fall in, you're gonna be severely, like, I guess, burnt or whatever it was.
Yeah, like.
But
dude,
it was,
that's crazy.
Yeah, it was cool though because on this hike you get spots on the mountain that are very muddy, and it's kind of like mushy because everything's like thawing out because in that spot it's particularly warmer. But then you go to a different spot and you're hiking up a little more. There's ice and snow everywhere, and so literally on this hike I'm walking through mud for a little bit and then some kind of like regular grass or land or whatever it was, and then you're walking through ice, but also you're getting so hot in some points where you have to take off your jacket. and because you don't want to start sweating. When you start sweating and it's cold, that's bad. That's when you get sick. And there were some spots where I had to like take it off. Other spots were so cold I had to put it back on, zip it up. And I went in March, so it wasn't like super super warm or anything, but it was like kind of that in between, obviously spring type season. And it was really cool. I mean, I have pictures of it on my phone, and there was people there that they actually had these little boardwalks when you got to the river. They actually have like a little festival every year or every spring or summer like that, where everyone goes up, they hike up the mountain, and there's like a bunch of people in the water just chilling, relaxing, all that good stuff. There's like boardwalks, and then there's like 4 dividers that you can change at, and it's all open air, everything. So essentially, if you're changing, it's very likely someone's going to see you naked changing, because you're not going to hike up there in your swimsuit, right? You want to hike up in your normal clothes and stuff to keep you warm. And then whenever you strip down, then you hop into the water. It was really cool because when I was there's someone who had a really great idea. Apparently the water wasn't really that deep there. In some spots it would be deeper than others, but you have to move like sediment and rocks and different things. The ground was so like malleable that this person like started digging a little hole in the water, and they literally made like a little hot tub for themselves where they're standing straight up, essentially where just their head is above water.
That's so smart.
Yeah, and it's not like it's just so like when someone says a hot spring, it's usually just kind of like a pool, but this was literally like hot water running off the side of a mountain in Iceland. So
that's pretty cool, dude.
Yeah, and actually on my way down, I found, it was like close to the base of the mountain, I found a British coin on the side of a mountain in Iceland. So an American found a British coin on the side of a mountain in Iceland, and I still have that coin to this day, and it's like kind of like my lucky coin.
That's pretty cool, dude.
Yeah. But there's actually there's a lot of CrossFit places there. I think what my cousin told me, the fittest person in the world is from Iceland, and no joke, there's a ton of CrossFitters that come from Iceland. Pretty much anywhere I went, there was CrossFit gyms everywhere. Yeah, they also have black sand beaches there.
Black sand beaches.
Yeah, the sand is literally black.
Okay. I was just thinking too hard about it, I guess. I'm like, why do they call it that?
Yeah, it's literally because that's the color of the sand, right? And they also have, I unfortunately I didn't get to see any of the black sand beaches. I essentially just stayed in the Reykjavik area. I rented like the smallest little subcompact car that they had because it was literally just me. And it gets so windy there. I didn't know this, but until I was flying back home, I saw on the monitor on the screen in front of me, Iceland is like the 3rd windiest place on Earth, only behind two other places that are not habitable. Yeah.
That's scary, bro. That's scary.
Yeah, I'm not even joking. I was on my way to go see a waterfall. A burst of wind. I was like between these 2 mountains, and a burst of wind came, and literally, like, I had both my hands on the steering wheel because it was snowing very aggressively, and got a big burst of wind, and it literally, my car was right here, and the wind, when it hit it, it just said, and scooted it to the side. I almost crapped my pants. I was like, oh, okay. We didn't crap. I had to like check my pants and all that good stuff. But it was weird. It would snow there very aggressively and very hard, and it'd be big, fat, thick snow for like 10, 15, 20 minutes. And then it would just stop snowing, and then it'd be like sunshine.
I'm over here laughing, but it's probably not the best experience in the world.
I mean, it was, but it was just a weird experience. I was just not. I don't know. It was just weird. But also, so I had a layover in Germany. So I flew from Chicago to not Berlin, Frankfurt, Germany. And on my flight was former Speaker of the House, Paul Ryan.
Wow. Whoa. Okay.
It was funny because I was kind of staying in the line, but staying off to the side because I looked and I saw there's so many people boarding this flight, and he came and like walked up kind of behind me, and he kind of like looked around, and I was like on my phone. He said, "Is this where the line is or what?" And I was like, "I don't really know. I'm just kind of standing here." And there was a group of 3 guys, and the 3 guys were just talking, and he like turned to them and was like, "Is this where the line is or what?" And then they recognized who he was. And they were talking to him, and they're like, "Are you?" And I couldn't hear the name that they said, but like when I looked at him, I was like, "He looks familiar. Where do I know him from?" I was like, "This is weird." And he had a beard at that time, and one of the guys, he's like, "Hey, can I get a picture?" And he said, "Yeah." He's real nice about it, and took a picture with the guy, and then he went up to the line or whatever. And after he went away, I said, Who was that you were talking to?" I was like, because he looks familiar. And kind of at the same time, I was like, "Was that Paul Ryan?" Because I literally looked up Paul Ryan on my phone before I asked, and then I said it. And he's like, "Yeah, that's former Speaker of the House." I was like, "Ah, of course it was." And he was just there with his wife, and we were on the same plane and went to Germany. I don't know where he went after that, but I just know he went to Germany.
Dude, did you say you were on the same plane?
Yeah.
That's crazy. Like what are the chances that happens? Like, it's just, I don't know.
Yeah. It was weird.
That is insane, seriously.
Yeah, it was a really weird, interesting moment, I guess, in my life that I didn't even think was possible. I mean, Paul Ryan, I think he was former governor of Wisconsin, if I'm not mistaken. So just think, so like, you know, the order for like if a president passes away in office, then it goes to the vice president. And if the vice president passes away, then it goes to the Speaker of the House.
And then isn't after that the secretary or
Something like
that? Could be wrong.
I have no idea. I just know those 3. That's all I know.
Okay.
But,
yeah, I can't remember. Didn't pay enough attention in history, I guess.
I feel like didn't we have history class in high school together?
I don't think we had a class together in high school.
I don't know.
think it
I know I
was
saw you all the time.
college.
What class did we have together in college?
We had a
it wasn't ECT,
I don't remember the name of it. It was
electronics.
CAD.
Oh, with tar.
Yep, it was CAD with tar.
Wow, Tar, I love that man so much. He is the best.
He's a cool dude.
Yeah, I ended up taking a 3D modeling class with him.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Yeah, he's a good guy. But, well, brother, I think that's all I have about to say.
All right, man. Well, this was good, man. Seriously, it's been like forever since I've talked to you, so it's kind of nice to catch up a little bit and see how you're doing.
Yeah, I've sent some messages out your way here and there, but it wasn't anything like some sustained conversation or anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, I know you got a life, you got stuff to do, and are you still here in Terre Haute or no? You moved, didn't you?
So yeah, I moved to Texas.
Right. Yeah, that's what I remember you doing. Yeah. So.
Yeah. But I'm here in Terre Haute right now.
Oh, are you?
Oh yeah, I've been here since this whole pandemic happened or started. Rather.
Okay, I see.
Yep.
Yeah, can't do too much about that, huh?
Hey, I think we started opening up to where you can see more people now, And I don't know if you've seen or been by there lately, but the Real Hacienda on Wabash Avenue, that thing's been popping off. There's been so many cars there.
Oh yeah, I would imagine. Like, yeah, bro. Like
Oh,
Mexican.
you cut out again.
Oh, I just said everyone wants Mexican right now.
I mean, I had it with my cousin Ronnie at probably the first couple weeks that I was back. But I'm just saying, if you want to go to Real Hacienda with your boy, get a little food
Yeah,
on, and you can tell me what everyone's saying, I wouldn't be too mad. And if you ordered
right.
for me in Spanish, I'd be very appreciative.
Sounds like a plan.
All right. So, for all the people listening, we have one more song that you're going to play, or part of a song,
Yep.
right?
No, it's the whole song.
The whole song. Is this your song?
Yep. Nope, I have yet to finish one myself that I've written.
Hey, I told you could play a piece of your own song. I don't really mind that much.
I know. No, I know. It's just I kind of want people to hear, the whole thing when it's
The
done.
whole
so.
thing. I can definitely appreciate that. Well, brother, what are you going to play?
I'm going to play No Such Thing by John Mayer.
No. You're a big John Mayer guy, aren't you?
I am. Yep.
You know how to play Waiting on the World to Change?
Oh, man. That's really funny you say that because I wanted to learn that song like I thought it would be appropriate for, what's going on right now.
Yeah,
at this
I agree.
time,
It'd be
and
very appropriate.
I know.
Cutting out.
And so I just didn't have enough time to learn the song. So
That's all good. See, when you said John Mayer, I was like, I think Jade told me you're a big John Mayer guy, and the only song that I know of his is Waiting on the World to Change.
I know, like, seriously, you took the words right out of my mouth when you said that. So-
It's the perfect song for the perfect time, You know what
I know.
what we could do is you could just take a video of you playing that, and then you could send it to me, and I could add it to the end of this podcast, or you can just play the song you had in mind.
I don't think I'll have enough time to learn it. It's a pretty hard song.
Really? It's that
You've been
hard?
waiting on that song for a little while.
It's that hard?
Yeah, it'll take it. They don't sound. John Mayer songs don't sound very hard, but they are.
Man, that's great. I wish I knew how to play music. How'd you learn?
How did I learn?
Yeah.
I mean, I just YouTube videos, really. I mean, and
Really?
and just by listening. I had a few guitar teachers, and that was more for like theory, like
Yeah.
the circle of fifths and keys, and I'm not gonna go into detail. But
Did you take that
but anyway,
guitar class at North?
I did. I did take that guitar class at North. Honestly, it was because I didn't really have any other elective available, and two, it was
You cut out again.
beneficial, and it was. So, I took it for two different reasons. One, because I thought it'd be beneficial, and two, because it was the only elective I had at that time.
Gotcha.
And it was beneficial. I learned to read a little bit of music, but mostly I just kind of learned the songs by ear, which is probably not the best thing to do, but
Get the job done. All right, brother.
Yeah.
I'm gonna deal this up, get it set up like it was in the beginning, and then we will be done with the podcast. And hey, I really appreciate you coming on. I have to tell you that I've contacted people about coming on the podcast, and they've said yes before, and then, or actually, it was more like they said they would think about it, and then I have to contact them again to come on the podcast. But I contacted you, and then I just gave you some time, gave you a few days, and I actually was not expecting a response back from you coming on the podcast. And usually if it takes a couple days, usually it's like a no. And you actually contacted me back on your own. And I really appreciate that.
Oh man, no problem. I mean,
yeah, like
cool to be ignored,
it actually
so.
it actually means a great deal to me that you did that, and so thank you for that. So I might have to take you out to dinner or something here soon.
All right, sounds like a plan.
All right, brother, you want to get set up, and then I'll get this all set up, and then I'll let you know when you're good to go. All right, brother. I think we're ready to go. What are you? Just one more time, what you playing?
No Such Thing by John Mayer.
No Such Thing by John Mayer. Ladies and gentlemen, Andres Calderon. Is that how you say it?
Yeah, you're good, man.
All right, brother. Do your thing.
Welcome to the real rush sensory. Don't send me. Take a sip. Take your life. Put it out back in the line. I never lived the days of the prom kings and the drama queens. I could make the best of me. Still hiding up my sleeve. Love to tell you inside the lines. Something's better on the other side. I wanna run through the halls of my school. I wanna scream at the walls. I just found out there's no such thing as a real world. Just a lie, you've got to rise above. All of our parents, they're getting older. Wonder if they wish for anything better. While in the memories turn to tragedies. I love to tell you, stay inside the lines. Something's better on the other side. I wanna run through the halls of my school. I wanna scream at the walls. I just found out there's no such thing as a real world. Just a lie, you got to rise above. I'm invincible. I'm invincible. I'm invincible as long as I'm alive. I wanna run through the halls of my school. I wanna scream at the walls. I just found out there's no such thing as a real world. Just a lie, you got to rise above. I just can't wait till my 10-year reunion. I'm gonna bust down the double doors. And when I stand on these tables before you, you will know what all this time was for.
There it is. Ladies and gentlemen, Andres Calderon, thank you for coming on the show. That was brilliant.
Thanks, man. You're brilliant. Thank you for having me on the show.
Hey, I'm not brilliant. I just put a lot of effort into this.
Well, that's what makes you brilliant, bro.
All right, brother. All right.